Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Dexter's Diary. What's up? Happy Tuesday. I hope you guys have been having hopefully a really good holiday season. I myself have been a little bit down in the dumps. Actually, to be completely honest, a lot of down in the dumps. I mean, like a lot. I think this is like probably the first day in like the past few weeks that I've actually felt like myself, like put a little lip gloss on, put a little makeup on, a little something, like zhuzh yourself up, like get out of bed, stop. You know, like that's literally the pep talk that I gave myself this morning. Like, all right, just get up. Stop trying to, whatever it is, like it's done. Like it's been weeks. Like your 5 minutes is up. Like you got to get this work done. Like I've literally put on like maybe like 10 pounds and I'm like, I haven't been working out consistently. I just haven't been doing any real self-care in the past few weeks. It's just been real indifferent. And, you know, I think, I hate to say it, but I don't really care for labels too much, but I do feel like I do suffer from depression from time to time. I don't think it's like chronic depression, but I do go from certain extremes and it's just something that I grapple with. And I don't take medication or anything like that. Like I don't feel like it's severe for me to even indulge in something like that. It's just not. I strongly believe that whatever I'm going through, I'm highly capable of getting past that. But I know for other people, it's a little bit harder. You know, the chemical imbalances, everything plays a part in it. And I'm real cognizant of that. So it's just, when I'm in that moment, I really just try to maintain. Like, I don't want to delve too deep because sometimes, you know, going all the way through might be a bit overwhelming. And for some of us, going all the way through may not be the best bet because you don't know how to get out of it. And that's why, like, a lot of things that I've been doing this past few weeks actually has been about just like, all right, just try to laugh through it, just try to smile through it, just try not to let it overwhelm you. The weekends though, like if I'm not working and I don't have anything to distract me or I'm not like doing anything, it just seems a bit more invasive. And my friends are really great. They've been really respectful of like, I don't really feel like talking right now or whatever. And they're like, it's cool. I understand. Like, I love you. Just, it's great. So it's just, I'm glad I have a really good support system. But even in those moments, like you don't think about your support system. You just like, it just becomes so much. And that's where I've been. And so this morning I was just like, I really was like, I'm just gonna stay. I really wanted to stay in bed. And I was like, nah, like you've been doing this for the past few weeks. Like it's done. Like get up, take a shower, like get your body moving. Like, so I totally, that's where I've been. And so now I'm just like, all right, cool. I think for me, the most challenging thing, the most difficult thing has been like adjusting to the change, expecting things in the midst of the change that just didn't fall through. And I guess also as just to tie it all together, there were so many things that I expected from myself this year that just didn't come to fruition. And towards the end of the year, like you start tallying up like whatever you didn't get done. And sometimes it can be a bit daunting. It's just like, damn, like I really wanted to do all these things and I didn't get to do X, Y, Z. And, you know, so many different things. And the accumulation can be a bit much. And I think I've just been delving into that. But as the universe likes to remind us when we're in certain places, you know, you're highly capable, you're smart, you're intelligent, you've overcome so many things. And I think that's one of the things that we need to hold on to. No matter where you are in life, if you look back on the things that you've overcome, like you've overcame them, you're capable of overcoming so much. But when you're in the midst of your personal storm, I'm really trying not to like get emotional, but like when you're in the midst of your personal storm, it's so difficult to even go back into those victories, however big, however small. It's the most challenging thing, and it's not at the forefront because you're really like in this woe is me space. And I hate to be, for my own personal self, I don't like to feel sorry for myself, but in those moments, that's the only thing I can do is feel sorry for myself. And it's like, oh, you've done so much, you've overcome so much, like you're so well adjusted, like you could have been this and you could have, but you didn't. And it's those things that when I come out of it, that I turn to like, look, everything could have been much worse. Things could have not worked out. And those things that didn't work out are probably for the best. And hindsight is 2020. You know, these pep talks that I give myself, and I'm sure everyone at some point has to give themselves, like, you know, I really, and this is lack of a better term, like most of my pep talks, like, yo, don't be a bitch. Like, don't, like, girl, like you got this, like, like you're stronger than this. And there are moments where I'm having these pep talks and I'm like so emotional through it, and I'm like, you know, like, and then like the tears are like, and it's just a juxtaposition of what's actually going on. But and I mean, I can smile about it now, but it's not funny in that moment. But those are the moments that you got to really push through, and you really have to find like what you're made of. And that's where I've been. And I haven't been on my social media. I haven't really been like outside of work. I just been low key. But I'm coming out. I feel better. I feel stronger. I understand that it's just a momentary thing, and it's not the long haul. I still have more work to do. I still have more people I need to reach, and changes that need to be done. And I'm excited about it. And, you know, I know so many people grapple with depression on a daily basis, and for them, it's not periodic. It's an everyday thing. It's a lengthy thing. And some people take medication for it. Some people don't want to be diagnosed for it. Some people don't acknowledge it. And if the one thing I can say to you is, if you are in a space where you just feel like you cannot deal, and you've been in that space for a long length of time, get help. Like it's not a strike against you. And if anything, it's going to make you more capable to deal with what's coming. But if you're not seeking help, and if you're not acknowledging that you're in a space that is uncomfortable, that is a burden to you, like, it's going to continue to be that. And if you don't know how to seek help, then reach out to people, like your friends, your family. Like, we don't talk about these things. And I get it. It's really hard for some of us. Like, I get people who tell me all the time, like, oh, you're so strong, you're so this and you're so that, and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, yeah, I'm strong, but like, I have these moments where I don't feel so strong. I have these moments where I don't feel so capable. I have these moments where I'm not so proud of myself. I have these moments where I feel like not only do I deserve more, I deserve to give myself more. I have so many of these thoughts, and it's really hard to go back and say, like, look, you've done this, and these are your accolades, and no one can take that away from you, and you can move forward knowing this. it's really challenging in those moments. Fortunately for me, it's not a lengthy thing. It's not something that I go through all the time. It's a periodic thing, and I understand that, and I'm cognizant of that. And when I'm in that space, what I used to do is try to like stuff it down and not like, no, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. But it just, by the time at some point you can't stuff anymore, and it'll really overtake you, and you really feel like you're drowning. And that's the only analogy I can come up with, because like the ocean is so vast, and I think that's what depression feels like to me. It's like you're in the ocean and there's no buoy, there's no boat, there's nothing, and you can't swim anymore, you can't doggy paddle anymore, you're just tired, like your limbs are tired, you're physically incapable of doing anything else. And for those of us who know how to float, we'll float till we get the strength to swim again. But some of us don't know how to float. And so what do you do in that moment? Like, who's gonna reach out? Where's the lifeboat? Where's the help? Some of us don't know how to float. And so it can be really incapacitating in those moments to want help and not know how to get it, and not know how to even receive it. I think that's the hardest thing, is not only seeking, but even if you have all the resources laid out ahead of you, are you willing to receive it? Are you willing to take help? A lot of us, and I'm guilty of this too, like people offer things to me and I'm just like, no. Knowing that I may need it, knowing that I may very well be able to utilize it, I'll say no, because for me it's a pride thing, it's an ego thing. But pride goes before the fall, right? And so I've learned that it's okay to say yes. Like, I need help. I need a hug. I need words of encouragement. Like, we're not able to do this by ourselves, Okay. I'm not capable of doing this by myself. And it's still something, like I said, to this day that I grapple with. Like, I know so many great people, and for the most part, when we're on the same level, it's great. The back and forth, the energy exchange is great. And if they happen to not be on that same level, and they need encouragement and they need X, Y, Z, I'm able to give it. But receiving it when I'm not in that space, for me, and it's something I need to dismantle and get rid of, but it almost feels like charity. And I don't ever want anyone to feel sorry for me. And I have a really hard time feeling sorry for myself. And so that's the conundrum that I'm in. Like, I need a hug. I need words of encouragement. But I'm incapable, or I struggle with receiving it, with saying, please, can you reach out? And even those that do it without being asked, it's still like, ugh, like I shouldn't be this. But the reality is that we're human, and we're having a human experience, and humans aren't meant to be by themselves. And we need human contact, even if you don't know how to receive it. It's like, you ever watch those shows with like those wild animals, or not really wild animals, I would say like maybe a dog that's been tied up and they've never had any affection in their whole life. Like, they've been tied up in the yard, treated like shit, just completely discarded. And so someone comes to help them, but because they've never received that, they're on the attack, and they're like growling, and it's like really, in essence, they're really trying to protect themselves because they don't know what's coming. And so it's a lot of coaxing involved. It's a lot of, it's okay. It's all these words, these soft words, and really trying to get close. And the reality is, like, the dog wants affection. It wants to be held. It just doesn't know how to receive it. And so it takes so much longer. And, you know, people are more capable of doing it for animals because animals don't talk, right? So you can only go by behavior. But humans are a bit more challenging. We're a bit more complex because you can reach out and then they'll swat your hand and you're like, I'll never reach out again. Like, people, we've all been there. Like, I'll never do it again. But keep in mind, like, the next time that you try to reach out to someone and they're not, they swat you, it's maybe because that they don't know how to receive. And it's a challenging thing. Some people are more open and more receptive to certain things, and I envy those people. Like, I want to be that person, and there are pockets where I am that person, but there are more pockets where I'm not. There are more pockets where I'm unable to receive, and I'm like, you know, I really like they just offered you. Why did you say no? And I don't have an answer for it. But I think for me, and this is literally how I feel, like, I think I almost don't want to be in a position to be offered. Like, because by offering, it means that I'm lacking something. And the reality is I am lacking it. I don't know how to receive it. And it could be nurture versus nature and not, I think growing up and not having those words be there, and, you know, it's a generational thing, and it's something I think about constantly because I know, like, eventually I do want to have children and I want to be a better parent than the one I had. But, like, it's so easy to say, well, if you didn't have it, and I've said this, I've literally said this with my own mouth. Like, if you didn't like it, then why would you do it to someone else? And if you know that this is something that you didn't have, wouldn't you want to give something better to someone else, like to your children? But I understand now it makes sense, but at the same time, it's really foolish because you don't have an example, right? And so now, because I've never had those words given to me, I now have to affirm myself. And it's something that I'm used to doing, even though I might not be the best at it. So when other people affirm me, it's still hard to receive because I don't know what it is to be affirmed from young. And so as an adult, trying to break down those mechanisms which have built me into the person that I am. And I say this all the time too, like, I don't regret the things that I've gone through because they've made me who I am. It doesn't mean that everything was amazing. Nothing really was amazing. But certain things are just really hard to dismantle because I can look at my mom now and even still, like, she grapples with certain things. She still grapples with compliments and feeling good about herself. And I understand where that comes from because I go back to my grandmother and I go back to my great grandmother and I see the generational shit that trickles down, and as women, it's something astonishing to see, because women are supposed to be nurturers. Women are supposed to be encouraging. But when you come from a long line of women who have not ever received that, you know, trauma starts in the womb. Like, when my great grandmother was alive, I was already, like, my grandmother was in there, my mother was in there, I was in there, you know, my sister was in there. Like, so all that is not only the things that happen once you're born, it's the things that's been sitting in your DNA and in your system since before you were even conceived. And so when you're doing the work, it's not just about doing the work in the now, it's doing the work in the before. And it's so, it's daunting, it's challenging, it's just like, but now I know these things and I'm still grappling with how to fix them and how to be more receptive, how to be more open. Because when I look at other people and they're just so, and I'm like, how do you just do that? And it's not to say that they don't have their own PTSD and their own trauma and their own triggers, but how did you get past that to the point that you can open again, that you can allow yourself such innocence, you know? And that's where I've been, and that's what I've been struggling with. And this is my diary entry for this week. So I will say this, I'm in a better place. I feel a lot better. And this is the culmination of everything that's been going on with me for the past few weeks. And if you're going through the same thing, just know that you're not by yourself, you're not alone. And, you know, work on being more receptive. Work on trying to figure out why you're not as receptive, because it'll give you some insight. It may not thoroughly fix the issue. It may not completely get rid of it, but at least it'll shine some light in those dark places, and it'll give you an idea of where the work needs to be done. Because whether you choose to have children or not, I mean, I know children for me are a catalyst. It's not a definite, because I may very well not have children, and I'm okay with that. The work still needs to be done. I still have to break this down. I still need to dismantle it. I still need to get rid of it for myself and for what's coming. Because when you're not receptive, you close yourself off to other blessings too. It's just not about words of encouragement. It's not about people giving you things. It's just like on a universal standpoint, like when you're not receptive, you close yourself off to so many different blessings, because you're always in that place of seemingly protecting yourself. You know, you're going to hurt, you're going to fall, you're going to skin your knee, but you're going to heal and you're going to be okay. And that's what I wanted to tell you today. So I'll see you next time. Thank you. I appreciate you, and happy holidays. Okay. I love you.